Hello everyone, welcome to Lazada Sustainability Academy. Through this program, we hope to share with you the necessary knowledge to future-proof and transform your business's sustainability. I'm your host Casey from Lazada. Practicing sustainability is driven by the growing recognition of the urgent need to address environmental challenges. Beyond that, businesses can also reap additional benefits by adopting sustainability in today's competitive landscape. Let's hear it from Sharmine, Sustainability Lead at National University of Singapore, Centre for Governance and Sustainability. Sharmine leads projects and research on climate change, biodiversity, and other sustainability topics of concern in Asia Pacific. She has expertise in sustainability assessment and benchmarking of over 700 public listed companies in ASEAN and Asia Pacific. Sharmine, very glad to have you with us.
Same here, Casey. Hello.
So, what drives the sustainability movement for businesses in Southeast Asia?
So, governments through regulations are putting pressure on business to adopt more sustainable practices. Increasingly, we see Southeast Asian governments introducing regulations to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, drive sustainability reporting, and promote sustainable practices. So, for example, in Singapore, we have the carbon tax at $5 per ton of CO2 emissions, and this is in view that it will reach $50 to $80 by 2030. This has direct implication on the bottom line of the business. And we see more countries also entering the race towards achieving net zero emissions by 2050. Within Southeast Asia alone, we see governments from Malaysia, Philippines, Singapore, and Vietnam declaring their commitments. Consumers are also becoming more aware of the environmental and social impacts of businesses. The sustainability movement has created a market for businesses that are able to offer sustainable products and services. There's also growing demand from investors to putting pressure on businesses to adopt more sustainable practices. Investors today are interested in understanding what are the sustainability and climate risks confronting the business, and how does that translate to the financial impact on the bottom line? And more importantly, what are the strategies in place to mitigate this risk?
There are indeed lots of momentum building across Southeast Asia. What financial benefits can SME expect from investing in sustainable practices, and what are the potential risks if they overlook sustainability?
Many SMEs have seen a reduction in operating costs from the adoption of green fixtures. Sustainable practices also builds greater resilience, can help SME reduce their risk exposure. So for example, by minimizing their environmental impact, SMEs can reduce their liability for environmental fines and penalties. Investing in sustainability practices also opens new market opportunities for SMEs. For example, companies with practices or products certified as sustainable might be able to secure green financing, access new markets, or such as government contracts or contracts with large multinational corporations. On the flip side, there is a risk of increased cost, loss of opportunities, and losing of market share when a company chooses to sideline sustainability.
How about the non-financial benefits and risk?
So investing in sustainability definitely reaps good community relations, enhanced brand reputation, better employee morale, and in some companies they've noticed increased productivity and innovation. In terms of the non-financial risk, businesses could face social opposition, and they could be at risk of tarnishing their brand reputation if they choose to ignore sustainability.
How can SME effectively integrate sustainability into their operations?
I'll recommend SMEs to consider taking up the COPI approach. So COPI spelled with a double P, so that's KOPPI. It's the Singaporean term referring to coffee. So the first K stands for KPI. So establish your sustainability KPI. Understand what are the material issues to your business. Material issues meaning what are the top priority issues to each of your stakeholder group. And once you've understood your material issues, Start establishing goals that are SMART. So SMART stands for S for specific, and then measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. So these SMART goals should target each of your material topic. Accountability matters as well. Work towards sustainability KPIs that are linked to your executive remuneration. So next, O stands for opportunities. So look out for opportunities that could involve making changes to your operations, your products, your services, or your value chain. So, for example, are there opportunities to track and reduce your emissions, or opportunities to opt for green appliances, or to develop your own green supplier sourcing guidelines? So next, we move on to the first P, which stands for plan. So develop your own implementation plan. This should include a timeline, a budget, a list of resources, and assigning of responsibilities. It's important to get everyone in your organization on board your sustainability goals, and this means having to educate, to train, and to empower your employees and customers, and also to work closely with your sustainable suppliers. The second P stands for progress. Measure your progress towards your sustainability goals. So aim as much as you can, aim to quantify them. This will help you track your success and adjust your strategies where needed. Be transparent also about your sustainability progress. This means to communicate your goals and your progress and your challenges to your stakeholders. And finally, I stands for continuously improve. So sustainability is a marathon, right? It's not a sprint. So continue to improve your sustainability efforts as new innovations and technologies become available.
So we understand that sometimes a mindset shift is necessary. How can businesses get buy-in from internal stakeholders to enable this change?
I'll say start small and make incremental changes. It's often easier to get buy-in for small incremental changes than for large sweeping ones. Right? And once you've made some progress, then you can start planning for bigger changes. It's good to also focus on the benefits that matter to the stakeholders. So different stakeholders are motivated by different things. So try and focus on what's in it for each stakeholder group. It's important also to be transparent about your challenges. Challenges are inevitable in the sustainability journey, right? And investors today are attracted to businesses that are actually honest about the challenges they face, and more importantly, how do they plan to overcome these challenges? It's good to be flexible and willing to adapt as well. As we learn more about sustainability, we may need to adapt our plans and be willing to be flexible and to make changes as required.
That is really good advice to influence key stakeholders. Coming to my last question, what are the top 3 emerging sustainability trends in the digital commerce space for SMEs, and how can businesses capitalize on these trends to strengthen their business case?
I think the first trend I see is around sustainable sourcing, so having transparency. Consumers are increasingly concerned about ethical sourcing. They want to know how the product is made, where it comes from, and how are environmental and social impacts managed. So SMEs can actually capitalize on this trend by working with sustainable suppliers and choosing sustainable materials. This also reduces the risk of supply chain disruption and protects the brand's reputation. The second emerging trend I see is around emissions reduction, so dealing with carbon offsets. Carbon offsetting involves investing in projects that reduce or remove greenhouse gas from the atmosphere. Carbon is emitted throughout your business operations, be it in shipping or packaging, and the list goes on. SMEs can capitalize on this trend by offering customers the option to offset their purchases, or you could work with carbon offsetting providers to offset the emissions from your own operations. And of course, this is bearing in mind the carbon management hierarchy. So when we talk about carbon management hierarchy, the focus of offset is always the very last move. In fact, it should be in the hierarchy of first avoiding carbon intensive activities and rethinking your business strategy, followed by reduce, which is trying to do whatever you can to be more efficient in your energy use. Subsequently, then we should be looking at replacing high carbon energy sources with low carbon energy ones. And the final step would then be offsetting those emissions that cannot be eliminated by the above. Okay. So finally, another emerging trend I've noticed is around circular economy that focuses on reducing waste by extending the lifespan of products through reuse, repair, and recycling. Consumers are on the lookout for products that are designed for durability. And we know that having products that are repairable means cost savings to us as consumers. So therefore, SMEs can capitalize on the circular economy trend by designing products with easy repairability and recyclability in mind. SMEs can also work with local partners to take back programs for old products or packaging to demonstrate their commitment towards circularity. And finally, remember to communicate your circular efforts.
Thank you, Sharmine, for the great sharing. To our valued audience, we hope you enjoyed today's conversation. Please remember to stay tuned for the upcoming episode of Lazada Sustainability Academy. Goodbye.